everybody, welcome back. Oh my gosh, I just sounded like Aunt Bethany.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Just
everybody.
in the living room.
I should say it.
You should say it.
Hello, everybody.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my favorite blushes, bronzers, and highlighters, and what I thought I would do is maybe flip the camera around and just show you guys the products instead of sitting here and talking about them, because I want to do some swatches and really show you guys how these products perform as I'm talking about them. So not a whole lot has changed since June. I'm going to be talking about pretty much most of the same products that I talked about at that time with a few new ones thrown in. So since there's a lot to go over, I'm going to quit talking now and cut to the video, and then I'll see you guys back here in a little bit. All right, so first let's talk about my favorite high-end blushes, and there are really only two brands that I reach for all the time, even though I have a very large blush collection. That would be the Lorac Color Source blushes and then the Balm's blushes. And I would say I like them both equally, but for different reasons. So first up, the Lorac blushes I love just for their blendability. They blend so seamlessly and effortlessly, more than just about any blush that I've ever tried. And I would say my favorites from this line are the shade Tinge, which is just this really beautiful pale nude color. It's perfect for my lighter skin tone, just when I want like a really easy, quick flush of color for every day. And then another one of my favorites if I want a cooler tone look would be Aura. This one is also really beautiful on my skin tone. It's just gorgeous. And they really just blend out like silk on your skin. They're so beautiful. And then another shade I really love is Prism. This one is a little bit warmer. It's a little bit peachier. That one is gorgeous too. It's almost like a deeper version of Tinge. So these are the three that I wear the most. The other three are a little bit deeper and I don't always reach for them quite as often. They are really beautiful, but I do have to sheer them out a little on my fairer skin tone. And I do wear them more in the summertime when I want a little bit of a brighter pop of color. So I'll go ahead now and show you swatches of all the shades that I have just so you can see them all side by side. I just think these blushes are absolutely gorgeous and they're very underrated as well. I don't know why more people aren't talking about them. And then the Balm's blushes are another favorite of mine that I reach for extremely often for a few reasons. One, because the packaging, first of all, is just so cute. When I see these, I just naturally want to reach for them because they're just so adorable. I just love the retro designs on them. The other thing is that these are extremely long-lasting blushes. So the formula lasts, I would say, a bit longer on my cheeks than the Lorac does. This one is so soft and silky and powdery that it blends well, but it doesn't always last on your cheeks. These ones have a little bit more grip to them, a little bit more pigment. And the last reason is that they just have the most beautiful colors. I would say Frat Boy is probably my number one out of all of the shades that they have. It's just the most perfect peachy pink matte shade ever. It just warms up my face so nicely. I love this color on my skin tone. It's very, very complimentary. Another one that I really like is Down Boy. This one is more of, again, a cool tone pink if I'm looking for something like that. I just love this color as well. Again, on my fair skin tone, it's beautiful. And then Hot Mama is another favorite. This one has Shimmer. I think this is the only one of theirs that I have with Shimmer in it. And this one is similar to NARS Orgasm. It's like a peachy pink with a little bit of gold shimmer to it. Again, really, really complimentary on my skin. Balm Springs is also a little bit deeper. I do really like this color, but as you can see, it kind of just goes on a little bit darker, so I do have to be careful with that one, not to use too much product. And then Balm Beach, similar to the shade Tinge from Lorac, is just that really light, easy to wear nude. So it doesn't show up incredibly well, but it's just something when you want a tiny little hint of color, but not actually look like you're wearing blush. That one is a great option as well. So I'll just go ahead and put up some swatches really quick so that you can see all of the shades that I have from their collection. I tend to buy these when the Balm has their 50% off sales a couple of times a year. It brings the price way down to basically a drugstore price. They retail for $21 normally, but you can get them during the sale for around $10.50. So it's a really, really good deal, and I highly recommend waiting for one of those sales if you want to pick these up. And then when it comes to drugstore blushes, there are two that I can definitely say I reach for all the time, and that's the Wet n Wild ColorIcon blushes and the Flower Beauty Flower Pots. So the Wet n Wild, actually I can't find my favorite shade, which is Rose Champagne at the moment, but I will definitely track that down and show you in the swatches what that one looks like. But One reason that I love the Wet n Wild blushes is just for the pigmentation and the ease of use. They're just so easy to pick up on a brush. The colors are beautiful and very flattering. This is apricot in the middle. It has just a very slight sheen to it, and it's just beautiful on my skin tone. I also really love the shade Pearlescent Pink. This one is honestly a classic. It's been around forever, but for good reason, because it's just a beautiful peachy pink. And again, it has a little hint of sheen to it. And then one matte shade that they have, Mellow Wine, is also just beautiful. I mean, really, these colors are just so flattering and so complimentary on a lot of different skin tones. So that's one reason why I love these. Plus, they are super cheap. I want to say they're $2.99 or $3.99 each. So they're really a steal. They're probably the most affordable product that I'm going to talk about in this video today, but they're just really, really good, especially for the price. And then another favorite of mine is the Flower Beauty Flower Pots blushes. And very similarly to the Lorac, these are so incredibly blendable. They just go on your skin like silk and blend out so seamlessly. That's one of the reasons that I just reach for these again and again. I would say my favorite shades are probably this one, which is Warm Hibiscus. This is very, very similar to the Balm's Hot Mama. It's very much like NARS Orgasm again, with the peachy pink color with a little bit of gold sheen in it. And another one that I reach for really often is Sweet Pea, and this one is a cooler toned matte pink, and this one is just really beautiful as well, especially on my skin tones. So overall, I would highly recommend picking up these Flower Beauty blushes if you haven't tried them. They also look very similar to the Milani ones, but in my opinion, these are a lot better than those. The Milani ones are a little bit more of a thicker velvety feel, and these are more silky. So I feel like these blend a lot better. The Milani ones can go on a little bit patchy at times, so that's one of the reasons that I like these a bit more. Even though they look identical as far as the rose shape in the pan, they're very, very different. So I'll go ahead and put up a photo of all of the shades that you can see. And again, I can wear all of these shades on my skin tone. There's a couple, the Peach Primrose and the Wild Rose ones, I do need to sheer out just a little bit, while the Warm Hibiscus and Sweet Pea just go on effortlessly on my skin tone. I don't ever have to worry about overdoing those two. The other ones are a little bit deeper, and there is a fifth shade that's even deeper than both of those, which I don't currently have. I don't believe it's sold at Ulta or Walmart. I think you have to get that one on the Flower Beauty website, so I never ended up grabbing that one. So my last blush category is cream blushes, and I have two to share with you today. The first one is the Colourpop Super Shock Cheeks. These have been favorites of mine for many, many years since they came out, and I do really like them a lot. They're very easy to just apply with your fingers. That's mainly how I do it. They're just super soft and squishy, and they just blend into the skin really nicely, and I find these to be super long lasting. They last all day on my cheeks. This is one of my favorite shades between the sheets. I just think it's like the perfect pinky nude. And what I like to do is put these on first and then put a powder blush on top. And my blush lasts the entire day if I use these as a base. So that's another great use for them. They're really super affordable too. And then another cream blush that I discovered this year that I really, really love is the Flower Beauty Blush Balm Color Drops. I did a video on these as well and how they're a dupe for the Glossier Cloud Paint, so I will link that video if you want to go ahead and check that out. But this is one of my favorite shades. This is Pinched, and it's a really nice nude, especially on my skin tone, and these give you a lot more time, I would say, to blend them out than the Colourpop do. The Colourpop, you have to work quickly because it's a slightly drier formula. This one is more emollient, and at first I was worried that they were going to leave a sticky or tacky residue on your cheeks, but they really don't. Once they dry down and set, they're just beautiful. So I definitely recommend these as well. So let me go ahead and show you some swatches of all the shades that I have so you can see what they look like. I just think these are so nice, and again, they're so versatile. You can also use these as a base under powder blush as well because they do dry down. So I definitely recommend checking these out. So moving on to the bronzer category, I have a few that I wanted to show you at different price points that are my favorite bronzers. And when it comes to bronzer color, what I mainly look for is something that's a little bit more pinky toned and leans slightly more cool toned or maybe neutral. But I tend to avoid gold or orange colored bronzers at all costs because I have a lot of pink in my skin, and when I tan naturally, my skin turns more of a pinkish brown rather than a golden. So these are the ones that I love the most. I would say probably my favorite is the Balm's Take Home the Bronze, and this is the lightest shade It used to be called Oscar. I got it when it originally was Oscar, and then they had to change it, I think, for legal reasons. So now it's called Oliver. But this is just the perfect bronze on my skin tone. It's just gorgeous. It's very neutral, almost slightly leaning cool. It's not as cool as I would say a contour powder would be, where it looks gray. So it's really more like a cool to neutral, but it's just the perfect color. It's not too deep. It's not too light. It shows up beautifully. It blends nicely, and it's not super pricey. It's $17.50. But again, if you get it when the Balm has their 50% off sale, you can get it for like $8.50, which is amazing for this. Another one that I really love that's more affordable is the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula. I have two shades, the bronzer shade, which is a little bit deeper, but certainly not too deep for my skin tone. I think it's still beautiful. I love the neutral color again. It's not too orange at all. And also they have one called Light Bronzer, which is even lighter than that one. And I think if you're really, really fair, this one might be the better option. It doesn't show up very well on me, to be honest, and it is a little more yellow than this one is, so I do prefer the regular bronzer shade to the light bronzer, even though originally I thought I would like the lighter one better. So these are just such a beautiful formula as well. They're very soft, very silky, blend out beautifully on the skin. So those are super popular for a reason. They also have a really nice tropical scent that I love. And then last but not least is a bronzer that I told myself I wasn't going to get because it's so expensive, but that's the Marc Jacobs Omega Bronze bronzer. And first of all, it's huge, but this is like a $50 bronzer, so I initially didn't want to get it, but I was at Sephora, I swatched it in store, and very similar to the Balm, it's just the perfect neutral bronze. And I think the one reason I really wanted to get this is because of the large size. What I like to do with this one is use it as a body bronzer. I'm not a fan of self-tanners because they always get streaky on me, and they always look orange and patchy, and they tend to fade very strangely on me. And plus I have dry skin, so they grip and grab in all these weird places. So I hate self-tanners, but the reason that I got this is so that I can take a huge fluffy brush and use it as a body bronzer, and you definitely have enough product to do that, and it just makes a really nice temporary bronzer. So in the summertime, I was applying this to my legs when I wore shorts, and to my arms and collarbone and shoulders, and it just gave a little bit of a glow and made me look a little sun-kissed without having to go the self-tanner route. So that's the main reason that I got this one, and I usually use these more on my face and this one more as a body bronzer, but obviously you could use this one on your face as well. It's a beautiful, beautiful color, and it also has a coconut scent to it like the Physicians Formula. So just quickly again, let me just show you the swatches. So this is the Marc Jacobs, this is the Physicians Formula light color, this is the bronzer color of Physicians Formula, and then this one is the Balm's Oscar. All right, and then moving on to the highlighter category. These are my favorite high-end highlighters that I reach for the most. And we'll start out with the Balm's Mary Lou-Manizer. This one is a classic, and for good reason. It's really shiny. It's the perfect golden highlight for a lot of different skin tones, and it is just so smooth and so finely milled. It's absolutely beautiful, and I reach for this one the most when I want something really, really shiny, but also not glittery, not shimmery. It just gives this beautiful, soft glow to your skin without the sparkle, which is something that I think you're going to see a lot of the highlighters that I show have in common. I'm not a big glitter fan. I'm not into a lot of sparkle. I just like a really beautiful sheen, and this one definitely delivers that. And then very similarly to the Mary Lou-Manizer, the Lorac Light Source highlighters are again a very shiny formula, but also extremely silky and smooth and not chunky. So they give this beautiful glow to your skin without all the sparkle. This one is the shade Starlight. This one I don't use as often, even though it's beautiful. It's called Bold Spirit. I think it's just a little too deep for my skin tone, but on other skin tones, I think it would be stunning. I actually use this one as an eyeshadow sometimes because it's just like the most gorgeous rose gold shade. And then this is another one I really like. This is Moonlight. If I'm in the mood for more of a pinky toned highlight, but it's just so soft and pretty. And then when I want a little more of what I call a low glow, I reach for one of these two, and this is the Pure Afterglow highlighter. I don't ever hear anybody talking about this one, but this is the most beautiful subtle highlight on the planet. I mean, watch how smooth and silky this one is. It just has the slightest hint of a glow to it. So it's not going to be your crazy, like see it from space kind of highlight. But if you just want a little touch of something on your cheekbones, it's absolutely gorgeous. And another one that is very similar to that is Laura Geller's French Vanilla. This one is a baked highlighter. And again, this one has just a small hint of a glow to it. So it's nothing over dramatic. But I like to use this one if I don't necessarily want to look like I'm wearing a highlighter, but I want my skin to have a little bit of a glow. Maybe my skin looks overly dry that day or something. That's one reason that I usually go for one of those two. All right, so my last category is drugstore highlighters. And honestly, sitting here right now looking at all of these amazing formulas, I'm kind of wondering why I even buy high-end ones, because these are all really, really good. So first I'll start out with one that really surprised me, and that's these from Pop Beauty. These are their Prismatic Pop highlighters, and I don't hear anybody talking about these either. They're available, I believe, at Rite Aid or also on the Pop Beauty website, but these are more of a baked highlighter formula, and they're the smoothest highlighters I think I've ever tried. They are just like liquid metal. They glide on so beautifully, and these are a really high shine formula. So if you want that super intense glow, but you don't want a ton of glitter or sparkle, and you want something really smooth, these are just incredible. So that first color was Celestial Light, and then this one is called Gilded Light. It's more of a gold shade. And then this one is Lunar Light, which is a little too deep for me. And then this one is Stellar Light. So the last two are a little too deep for me. I mainly wear these two right here, but they're absolutely stunning highlighters, and they're really affordable too. I think they're only around $8 a piece. And then another one I just picked up recently after I saw Tati talking about it in a video is the Maybelline Master Chrome Molten Rose Gold. This is another just really beautiful color. I had the original Maybelline Master Chrome, but that one was a deeper gold color that didn't really suit my skin tone. This one works a lot better for me, and it is, again, just so shiny. You can see it from outer space. It's a really creamy formula. It's not chunky or crumbly or extra glittery, but it does give you that really intense sheen, so that's just another amazing drugstore option. And then another drugstore favorite that I had to mention is the Flower Beauty Shimmer and Strobe Highlighting Palette. And just like the others, this one is just so super smooth without being chunky. They just, again, like they go on like liquid metal. They're so shiny and beautiful. And I use this one so often because the formula is fantastic. So you can see the incredible shine this has. It's just absolutely stunning. And then I also have to mention the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powders. These, again, they're just as good as high-end highlighters in my opinion. They're so buttery and so creamy. And while I can't wear every single shade, I mean, I do have them. I got them to swatch on my Instagram, but I would say my favorite shades are probably this one, which is Blossom Glow, and then also Botanic Dreams. This one is really pretty as well. The others, like Precious Petals here and Golden Flower Crown, are just a little bit more on the darker side for my skin tone. And then they also have a purple shade, and then this deeper one here, Crown of My Canopy. But overall, I just love the formula of these. I think they're definitely worth checking out because they're so affordable, and they're just a beautiful formula that can compete with high-end. And then last but not least, my favorite low glow highlighters at the drugstore are definitely the Essence Pure Nude. And this one, while it looks really dark in the pan, it somehow works for my skin tone. It's just the most beautiful, subtle sheen. It kind of reminds me of the Laura Geller French Vanilla or the Afterglow from Pure in that way. It looks shiny under the lights right here, but when I blend it out on my cheeks, it just makes my skin look like it's glowing from within. It doesn't actually look like I applied highlighter, which I really love. And then they also have this other one that just came out more recently over the summer. This is the Space Lighter, and it's a lighter shade. It has sort of a duochrome effect to it. And this one is also pretty subtle in the sense that it doesn't have a ton of sparkle or glitter in it. It does give a really nice sheen. So if you like that something extra of having that duochrome where as you turn your head, it kind of looks like a different color, I just think that's super pretty and fun as well. All right, so those are my favorite blushes, bronzers, and highlighters of 2018. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button. And also, I would love to hear from you guys and hear about your favorite blushes, bronzers, and highlighters as well. What are you guys into these days? What have you been using? I always love chatting with you guys. So thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in my next video.